Big Bang Comics in Dundrum is one of Dublin's leading comic book retailers, known for their openness and immediate rapport with its audience. We spoke to its owner, John Hendrick, about being a comic book store in the 21st century, how to hook in new readers, and the local comic scene in Ireland. Hello, I'm Leandro Pondoka from Virtual Citizens. We're here in the award-winning Big Bang Comics in Dundrum. We're going to talk to the owner of the store, John Hendrick. Thanks very much, John Hendrick. Sorry, thanks very much for taking time out to talk to us.
That's okay.
Right, so we'll just start off talking about you then. So how did you get into comics? Like, what was like the moment that got you into this hobby?
Actually, when I was a kid, my mom wanted us all to read, so she didn't care what we read, so she bought us comics.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, what did you buy?
Transformers. Yeah, the old Transformers UK weeklies out of the local newsagents, and then that graduated onto 2000 AD, and then after that, the American stuff.
All right. Did you get into like any of the big two, Marvel or DC?
Yeah, because I had an older sister and two older brothers. So while I was reading like Transformers stuff, they were reading. I think at the time, I think it was Secret Wars, the first Secret Wars.
The one with the Beyonder. And
Yeah. So I might not necessarily read them at that time, but as I got older, like we never got rid of comics.
Yeah.
So as I got older, I would read that stuff.
All right. So what led you to working in the industry then?
It's basically the only thing I could do adequately. Yeah, I've always kind of worked in stores and worked around comics, and I've had other jobs, but always came back to comics.
Like, so then what got into owning a store then from working? I guess you worked in a comic book store before.
I did. I worked in other comic book stores. I suppose I'm not someone that takes orders very well, which has led me into various, you could call it trouble, over the years, but kind of always want to be my own boss. Always have my own ideas, always the way I wanted to do it.
So like, when did you start Big Bang then? Around what time?
6 years ago.
All right. So what is it you wanted to do that you wanted to do differently from other comic book stores? Like, what do you think sets apart Big Bang Comics?
This could get me into trouble. And it has in the past at different retail summits and stuff. I always just when I talk to other retailers, there's a few questions that you can ask retailers, and they're very telling. I always wanted to know if you had your store, and if you had your the way it's set up and the way it looks, if you emptied all the comic books out of it and put something like shoes or clothes or toasters, would people go in and buy those things in your store? So for me, I never really wanted a comic shop because I think that there's negative connotations there. I think I didn't want that stereotype. I didn't want to perpetuate it.
The sort of like clicky dungeon, sort of like a comic book.
Yeah, yeah, that's not my thing. And comics are for everybody, but not every comic store is for every person, and that's not something that we wanted.
Yeah. So like
setting out, we wanted to kind of make the store nice.
And so, what's the sort of audience you guys get then?
Everything. Yeah, people go, "What's your typical customer?" And the answer's like 4 years to 80 years, male, female.
Nice.
Every orientation, every gender, every race, everything. There is no one specific customer.
Do you get many like newcomers coming here, like seeing like they maybe saw a movie and like they want to get into comics?
Yeah, actually, I think that's a great big. There's misconception with that. I think people are really, really interested in upcoming movies, and the trailers really sell comics. But once the movie comes out, then you'll see the property kind of slow down a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what's an example of that? Like
Civil War.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, everything really. Suicide Squad, Civil War.
So like coming up to Guardians, and you would have been like, because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just came out, and
less so with the sequel, because a lot of that energy has been spent on the first movie. But yeah, people will be excited for the sequels, and they'll want like stuff with Rocket and Groot, or they'll want stuff with Star-Lord, and they'll come in and get that, and then the movie comes out and that will slow down, and that seems to be quite universal in comic stores.
Okay. So coming back to the question of like newcomers, like how would you approach, like if someone wants to come in and just like what would you give them first? Like
well, if someone came in and didn't know what they wanted. I always try and find out a bit about them. So like you, okay, I'll try it on you.
Okay.
You come in, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'll go, how's it going?
Not bad. Not
Okay. And then, okay, what sort of music do you like?
Emo music.
Okay, what TV shows do you watch?
The usual Game of Thrones, Doctor Who.
Okay. What movies do you watch?
My favorite ones be like stuff like The Usual Suspects, crime films. that
Cool.
sort of thing.
Okay, now we're on to something. Okay. And what books do you read?
Yeah, I read A Song of Ice and Fire beforehand,
Sure.
but like stuff like that, Series of Unfortunate Events, like
Oh,
young adult stuff. as
Young
well,
adult
like.
stuff, okay. And would you be looking for more young adult stuff, or would you be looking for like something that you could really get your teeth into?
Kind of young adult-ish, probably. Like I wouldn't say teenage angst because I like emo music, that sort of thing as well. That sort of.
I was
genre.
ignoring the emo music.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. Like younger stuff is like sometimes the more mature stuff can be a bit off-putting.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you see, with all that sort of information, that's what we take, and then luckily the staff here, probably a bit more so than me now because I spend a lot of time doing paperwork. We'll recommend things like that. So for you, with the information that you gave me, I would probably recommend Paper Girls.
All right.
Because it's not so much an all ages title, but it's a title that all ages will enjoy. Yeah, that's what I recommend for you right there.
Okay, so that would be like how you typically treat like it. Come in.
Yeah.
Like, do you have like big events that would like draw people in, like Free Comic Book Day? Just
Yeah,
happened,
we just
like,
said that.
Yeah, like
Which
would
is
that?
why I look like this, everybody, because it happened 2 days ago. Yeah, Free Comic Day happens once a year. It was pretty insane. It's the first year ever. Each year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and this year was 15% more turnover than the previous year. 12,400 units went out in terms of Free Comic Book Day, and it's the first year where we've ever been left with nothing.
Wow.
Normally you're left with like some things afterwards, but first year, and we had 3,600 people. Now, on that day, I always insist on working the door because it's a good way for me to gauge who's new. Maybe it's the first time to the store, maybe it's their first time into comics, because we can't let everyone in at once as well. You can have to stop and have a bit of a conversation with people. So yeah, we had a lot of new faces this year, which is good. That's what it's for.
Yeah. So like stuff like Free Comic Day, like what would be like the biggest benefit from that? Because like obviously you get free comics, but like what are you hoping?
Well, you get free comics.
Oh, yeah,
we pay for them.
Yeah.
The biggest benefit is it does cost to do it properly. It costs money, but I would rather pump money into that than advertising in newspapers or magazines or radio stations and stuff, because it's so dead on, it's so precise, and you're seeing the returns straight away. What will happen now is over the next 8 weeks we will keep track of new people who come in, and in terms if they offer the information that I was here on Free Comic Book Day, I got this, it was really good, do you have something like it?
All right. So I know your store also does other events like guest signings. So you
We have a
bring
lot
in,
of that,
yeah. Like I was actually here for Kieran Gillen and
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely chaps. So do you have like other people like Jason Latour or Kate? Like a lot of different people. Like, and it seems like a thing that's not unique to yours, but it seems like you guys specialize in that. Like, what was the thinking behind that? Like,
and it goes back to kind of like when the way we laid out the store and the way we set up the store and the way the store looks. We also do, we have a store that we would shop in. We have a store that we would go to if we were just punters. And that's part of it as well. And like me and Bruno, we who run the events, we love comics, and I've been in this business a long time, so a lot of these people are friends. So it's good to have your friends over, and it's good to see these people and hang out with these people. But it's also good to do interesting things like talks and panels and portfolio reviews and things like that, which also happen. And it's also good to solidify the community, because that's important as well. With something like this, with comics, it's very much that if people want to come in and just shop and not hang out, that's fine. But if they want to come in and shop and talk to other people. That's cool. I think one of the great events that we had, there was an anthology book launch here called Project Crossroads, all by Irish talent, all who met through the store. So they were all just customers who met in the store, got talking, put out a book. So we were like, yeah, definitely, we're launching this, because I think that was a great success story, even though they're not a Marvel or DC or Image or Dark Horse or whatever. The fact that 12 people all met through here and put a book out together, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So going to the idea of like the Irish comic scene, like what's the sort of like artists or like writers that you think people should know about coming from Ireland?
Oh, okay. Like not published.
Well,
these are always difficult questions because if I forget someone.
Yeah. Well, but I think they'll understand. Like
no.
All right.
Creative types. You crazy? I you know what?
There's a lot of people you could.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate questions like this.
All right.
Because invariably I will forget somebody.
Yeah.
But there's some really good stuff, and there's some really nice books and really good design. On books in Ireland, there was Paul Bolger's Hound series, Volume 3 just got back to got successfully backed on Kickstarter. That I love that series. And then you've got like I'd be killed if I didn't mention my brother's stuff, Dave Hendrick. He's done like Granny Well, and he's got this like a webcomic called Fortnite. Then there's Hugo Boylan stuff, Kerry Smith stuff. There's all the people at Red Cube, Dervla, lots of people. See, there's people who I'm trying to think of and put me under pressure. But there's a lot of really good stuff out there, and there's a lot of really good stuff that's unique. And I think that's the great thing now in the age that we're in. A lot of people can just do what they want because they can just throw it online. They can build their followings that way.
Speaking of online, like I know one of the things I love about what you guys do is that in your Twitter, every week you do this weekly sales analysis on Monday.
We do.
Yeah, like you just go through like which did well, which comic book didn't do well, and maybe like look into why or why not. And like, how did that come about?
Honestly, nobody else did it, so we said we'll do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Like no one, I don't. Yeah, I think that feels like a bit of an eye-opening thing because like I think like a lot of like even creators don't, or others.
Nobody gets as immediate feedback, but we always say that these are only the sales for our store and our store only, because just because it happens here doesn't mean it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's become a thing where at Christmas it's hard to do, or if we run an event it's hard to do, or the Monday after Free Comic Book Day it's hard to do. And we first really started noticing that it made like serious impacts when publishers from companies started getting in touch, and then editor-in-chiefs and editors, and then the creators, and then when if for whatever reason we couldn't run it because we were tired or we were doing something else, the amount of tweets would be like, what's happening, where's the sales analysis, what's going on, are you going to do it tonight? So that's just a thing that we do, but again, it's just for our store.
But the thing feels like it opens up a bit of aspects of the business that people didn't know about, like other things as well. There was an article you wrote for a Sketch like a year ago, how creators can sell their work, and you mentioned you mentioned how like even how distribution of comic books work.
You'd be amazed how many creators don't know that stuff.
Really?
Yes.
And you think like it obviously only just benefits everyone if everyone just knew how the system actually worked.
Well, the better creators do, the better books do, the better retailers do, the better we all do. But yeah, I do think I think it's quite interesting. I mean, the amount of creators that get in touch with us that don't know when their own books are coming out, the amount of creators that don't understand the diamond distribution system, the amount of creators that a lot of people, I've had creators, there's a term that's banded about in our business called FOC, and that's final order cutoff. That's the very last day that you can adjust your orders on a book and be guaranteed getting it. And I was talking to a creator who honestly thought that meant free of charge. So there's a lot of people that you know, they know how to make comics. They know how to make great comics. They just have never had to learn the business. More and more they do now, because everyone wants to do creator-owned comics. Everyone wants that image deal. Everyone wants, you know, that. But yeah, it is. It's getting better.
So what do you think like has been like the biggest change when you started selling comics into what we are now? Because like image existed obviously even back in the 90s, but it was still, I think, still the big two, which is like it's almost a monopoly. But what's the difference now? Like we have all this stuff like from Image and Dark Horse and Oni or
people. Very rare nowadays, but you know, people always go, "Oh, which you prefer, Marvel or DC?" And I'm like, and I've always had the same answer. It's like neither. Yeah. You know, who's your favorite superhero? I don't have one. There's lots of characters I like, but I tend to follow creators. So if I know for a fact that, I don't know, Kieran.
Yeah.
Right? If I know that Kieran's going to be doing a new Star Wars series, I'll read that. Yeah. If I know for a fact that, you know, I know Becky Clennan's going to do something, I'll pick that up. You know, I won't really care what it is, because generally I'll like the creator. But I do try and read everything. It's hard. On a Tuesday night, after, you know, some Tuesdays we're here like 14, 15, 16 hours. And it's hard to go home and then read like 50 comics. But we do try.
All right. And when you mentioned as well, when, you know, comic book stores started like selling more than just other comic books and stuff, I was just thinking like, there's a lot of talk about how digital is eating away at things. Has digital eaten away at anything you guys do, or
no?
Not at all. Like these physicals still do well.
Absolutely. Comics are different. Comics and books are different to TV and music. It's a very tactile thing. It's a very physical experience, you know. And I don't know. I don't really get a lot of single issues myself anymore, because space.
Yeah.
And I have children, and they think I'm going to color it in, and I'm freaking out, you know. But I do get a lot of graphic novels and books and nice editions and things, and I actually really like walking into my house, looking at my wall, and seeing all of my books. And I'm not that way with records, and I'm not that way with movies. So it is different. In terms of digital, there are some customers who had big pull lists who now get a lot of stuff digitally, but they all come in for books. And there are plenty of customers who started out illegally downloading and stealing this shit. Can I curse on this? Yeah. I don't know. Well, I did, everybody. But you know, who started out that way. But you know, I don't agree with it. But you know, for every person that I'm going to say, for every person that comes in here that steals comics, at least half of them buy them too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm pretty sure that that's a better ratio than movies and music.
There is actually an event at the National Gallery from Comics Caravaggio. It's part of their like Caravaggio
Caravaggio season.
Yeah, Caravaggio season.
Yeah, you know, last month it was like Leonardo season. I don't know.
But yeah, you guys are involved in that. Do you think because that feels like it's putting comic books in the same pantheon as art or something like that?
Comic books are art.
But yeah, they are. But like, does it feel like you have to fight those connotations of like comic books just as
right. I see where you're going with this.
Because you talked about how like other comic book stores, like, and we're not obviously gonna name names, but like there are stores where it feels like that comic books are an exclusive thing.
You know what I love? I love people that come in here and don't know anything about comic books, and I love people that come in here and go, I have never read a comic book, or I'm in here to buy a comic book for my niece or whatever. Because what I love asking them is like, oh yeah, what sort of books do you read? Oh yeah, that's cool. And what do you like? You know, and I love them leaving with a graphic novel. That's like the best. So, in terms of your question, I suppose in one way you could phrase it like, are comic books becoming more respectable, or are you know? I don't necessarily think that they're not, and I don't necessarily think that they are, but I don't worry about it.
All right.
I only ever worry about making someone's experience in here as good and getting as many comic books into as many people's hands as possible. The great thing about that in the National Gallery that they're putting it on, and I really, really am happy to be a part of that, and the store is too. But the great thing about that is that anyone that goes to that, they've already made that decision because they're there. So I'm not gonna have to go. Yeah, comics are too.
Yeah, they're not for kids anymore, which they are.
They are.
Like, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
medium.
Well,
Well,
yeah, totally. I mean, comics are for everybody.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, anyone that comes in here, if they come in here and they go, "Oh, this is nonsense," okay, that's cool. But you don't have to come into my store and say that.
Yeah, why would
If you're
one
gonna
bother?
like stand here and be like, "These are nonsense," I'm calling the cops because there's
Yeah.
something wrong with you. But yeah, no, I in terms of social acceptance of comics, people always talk about the movies and the TV shows and stuff like that, and like that's great and that's cool. But still, I think what we do, we should make this as easy and as welcoming as possible. We should. If people have a stigma to it, that's not necessarily anything we can help them out with.
Yeah. Do you think like there are other stigmas that do you think there are other, what are the other like other barriers you think between people getting into comics beyond just the stigma of like it's for it's for nerds or something? Because like I'm a lapsed comic book fan every now and then, and what always troubles me is like the price of it, because like
Yeah, it's expensive.
like it is like I'd buy 4 single issues and they cost me 20 quid, and
You're not shopping here then.
no, I'm not. Yeah. No, that was a mistake.
No, well, think about what we do. We sell luxury items. We sell import goods.
Yeah.
We bring them in every week. We put them up. We sell them. Right. If you, which do you prefer, digital or paper?
I would like paper, but it is just
Exactly.
expense and
Right, yeah.
and the space. and
Okay,
whatnot.
so yeah, but there's people that want them, and there's people that collect them, and it, if it's a choice between comics or food, I gotta say there's something wrong with you if you pick comics. Okay, you should always pick like what we sell is it's a hobby, it's entertainment, it's cool, and it's the best fucking job in the world, and I love them. But like you also have to appreciate that it's cheaper than lots of other entertainment things. So it's 6 of one and half of the other, I guess. But like these are great. But yeah, they're like €3 a pop for 20 minutes worth of entertainment. So yeah, the cost can be quite prohibitive, and that's why we try and do stuff like for kids, and like we just gave away a ton. But yeah, it's up to the person that comes in through the door. But if you're coming in through the door, you're interested in it.
Yeah. So like, finally, where would you like Big Bad Comics to go? Would you like to open this like even like a second store, or
If I could clown me and Bruno.
is it just like is it you and Bruno handle?
Bruno,
Yeah.
me and Bruno run the place.
Yeah.
Then we've got JP, who is amazing at some of the maddest stuff that I can't get my head around, and that's why he's here. And then there's other people that work here too. But me and Bruno would run the day to day of the store. Yes. Where would I like us to go? Up.
Like, you wouldn't just want to stay here? Would you want to get bigger? Because like this is a nice place.
It is a nice place.
Yeah.
If I could replicate this wherever it was needed, yeah, of course. But I wouldn't just do it for vanity's sake. I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it half-assed.
All
I wouldn't want that.
right. Okay.
Where would you like us to go?
I don't know. Some closer to where I live, maybe.
You live like 20 minutes away.
It takes 20 minutes to get to the Lewis. It's a bit much. We're not gonna get into that. All right. Just one final question. Have you seen WWE Payback?
No.
No, don't.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Why did you ask that question?
I don't know. I heard you were into wrestling.
Really?
Yeah.
Bruno's mad about it.
Oh. Really?
You know what I like when
Yeah.
it comes to wrestling? And Shane, who is in here but will not actually appear on camera. Shane, you gotta agree with me on this, right?
Yeah.
Who's RVD?
Oh, yeah.
Good man.
I'll put the show.
All right. Well, that's
All good?
yeah. It's all good.
Cool.
Thanks very much for talking to us.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me.